Welcome to the last video for the FYRE starter class. At this point, you should have watched videos 1, 2, and 3 on this YouTube channel, signed up for and completed your assigned homework for weeks 1, 2, and 3 on Edge Factor, and signed up and completed the game on Bonsai Financial. Since this is the last video, let's walk through what you need to do to complete this class and receive your AirPods. All of your homework for weeks 1 through 4 must be completed on Edge Factor and Bonsai Financial. Once completed, use the Remind app to let me know you have finished. I will then set up a time to have a phone call or Zoom with you. During this time, I'd like to talk with you about the class, the businesses that were interviewed for the videos, and what the rest of your summer looks like. Once we have finished our call, you will receive in the mail a certificate of completion and a pair of AirPods. Don't forget to reach out to Renee or Gabriella at JFS for assistance with getting a job. Your Week 4 homework for Edge Factor covers the following topics: leadership, the boss, dropping the ball, and successful failure. In Bonsai Financial, you will be completing the post-test section. This next interview is with Ricky Branham, Director of the Willard Chamber of Commerce, and Victoria Branham, Operations Manager for Pepperidge Farms. So today is our fourth video of the FYRE class, and today we have the honor of having two guests for our interview for our businesses. Do you mind introducing yourselves?
Hi there, my name is Victoria Branham. I'm the Operations Manager for the Willard Pepperidge Farms site.
And I'm Ricky Branham. I'm the Willard Area Chamber of Commerce Executive Director.
Great. If you could each explain what each of those companies does. I do know that part of our FYRE class, we have a large group from Willard, so I'm sure they're familiar, but maybe the people from Norwalk aren't as much.
All right. Pepperidge Farm is part of Campbell Snacks, which is a larger part of a larger company, Campbell Soup Company. The Willard site specifically is the goldfish site for the network in the world. So we produce goldfish crackers, Milano cookies, crispy cookies, all types of goldfish grahams, and pretzel goldfish.
In the Willard Area Chamber of Commerce, we have about 145 members, and we promote business-to-business relations through our different family activities that we have for the community, for different get-togethers for businesses, flyers, email networking, those kind of things.
Right. And so during this FYRE class, one of the goals is to really open their eyes to what employers are looking for in an employee, what kind of good workplace skills, and then obviously knowing that they're young adults, specifically maybe narrowing in on what they could learn, some of them entering their first job. So if you guys can have a conversation between the two of you, or you could each go separately, but I'd really like to have any of your advice that you have, or maybe some scenarios of what you think is a good, productive employee.
Go ahead.
Well, and I know in the Chamber of Commerce, one of the things I hear over and over with businesses is they're looking for people that they can promote within. So the good news is businesses want to grow their employees, but what they're looking for specifically for that I hear over and over is just someone who is committed, someone who's loyal, someone who is who comes in every day with a good attitude. A lot of times I hear businesses talk about how it's one day they're this way and one day they're that way. They don't know what they're going to get. So what they're looking for is consistency. Someone who comes in, who's always ready to work, ready to help, who comes in engaged, who's good with customer relations. But the good news is I hear over and over that they want to promote within, and they're looking for people to grow. They don't want to go oftentimes outside and try to bring someone from the outside when they have someone that is in. But that's been a struggle, is finding people who are committed and loyal and who's just not looking for the next thing. So I would always recommend too that if you're interested in growing in your field or in your job or in the place of business, is to talk to those powers that be there. Obviously, you don't want to go in from day one and try to say you want to take over everything. Obviously, you want to use wisdom and good timing. but letting them know that if you do find a job that you really like and you're kind of just starting out and you're like, wow, I could really see myself here, I would think that you should have a conversation um, with your boss and others, letting them know that you would like to be groomed for to take on more responsibility in a company. And I think you'll get more of a positive feedback from that than you might realize. But they're looking for people to take initiative. So I know throwing out all these words, initiative,
Yep,
loyal, and consistency, but that's really what it is. It's initiative, loyal, and consistency.
that's great.
All
Victoria?
right. So some of the things I look for, I think, just to summarize, would be reliability that Ricky mentions, integrity. So being honest and clear on what you're doing, whether anyone else is around or not. Just making sure you're doing the right thing all the time. Um, Being willing to work and willing to learn. Those last two really seem obvious, but for a lot of folks, they're not obvious. So at Pepperidge, we're not looking for placeholders. We want people who are going to be there to contribute, who are going to be there to learn and grow. And I don't need people who can do every job. I just need people who will do the job that we need them to do and do it well. So I started as a temp at Pepperidge Farm, and that was something that I always did. I was always busy, always finding work to do to be valuable. That's how I viewed myself as an employee there. I wanted to be as valuable to the company as I could be, and that's something that I've carried through. As far as reliability, it's really just showing up consistently every day, showing up on time. Back to that consistency Ricky mentioned, being that person that we can count on every day to do the same good job every day. We all kind of have our ups and downs in lives, but once you enter the workforce, you have to leave some of that at the door and make sure that you're bringing your best self every day. And that's important in a place like a manufacturing site, because you have to be aware, you have to be alert so that you're safe and making sure you're doing the right thing.
Those are great tips, pointers, and advice. If students are interested in possibly pursuing a job at Pepperidge Farms, I know right now with the COVID, I'm sure things are a little different. Could you give them an understanding of an entry level, what kind of skills are needed, and then maybe an average pay range for a starting job?
So the pay ranges, that can be in flux at times, but I would say for skills, it really does go back to the first thing is we need people to show up and to be there. A lot of the different skills, it includes things that require hand-to-eye coordination. Sometimes being able to lift up to 50 pounds on a regular basis, really being able to communicate well, ask questions if things are unclear, be able to share what you're facing, or if there's an obstacle that you're unsure how to resolve during your workday, and just really being able to comprehend the work instructions, and again, asking questions if you're not sure. That's I always try to alleviate that pressure with our new hires or our new temps is don't be afraid to ask a question because you're new. It shows that you're engaged, it shows that you are really owning your position and you want to do the best thing.
That's great. So, are you hiring this summer?
We are, yes. We would love to take all applicants.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your time. I think a lot of advice packed into a little bit of an interview, but we really appreciate it. We'll definitely, if anyone has any further questions, am I able to refer them to either one of you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
This last financial lesson is brought to you by Savista Bank.
Hi, my name is Rhonda Sheely, and I work for Savista Bank. I'm the manager of the Savista at Work program. Through this program, we share vital information on a variety of topics with individuals to help them stay informed. Today, we'd like to share with you information on identity theft. This is an important subject because not only can this happen to anyone, it's a growing issue in many of our communities. The good news is there's lots of help out there, ways to protect your identity and resources to help you. In this session, Identity Theft, we'll start with understanding the term identity, how our information is shared, and why we should care. We'll then take a look at personal identifiable information, the methods used to steal it, and why a thief wants it. And of course, all along the way, we'll review steps you can take to protect your information. We'll start with, what is identity? Is it a school ID or a social security card or perhaps a driver's license? Is it just carrying one of these documents with you all the time? Let's give that a little more thought. Do you always carry at least one type of identification with you? Do you have any other forms of identification? We often think of identity as a form of identification. It's actually much broader as it pertains to any document or collection of data that is used to distinguish or identify you. In this slide, you see 4 areas of identifying information: biographical data, medical data, biometric data, and financial data. Let's dive in a little bit better, see if we can't get an idea about what each really mean. You can see on this chart a few descriptive words for each category. Biographical data is dealing with a particular person's life. Medical data is relating to medical treatments. Biometrics, these are distinctive identifying characteristics. And financial, information pertaining to an individual's financial health. If you have a piece of paper and pen, feel free to write down these words. Now that we have a more expanded understanding about information that identifies us, we need to consider how much of this information we share publicly. If you wrote down the words, circle each one on your list that you think is shared. Do you think you have a good idea about what you may share about yourself? Let's watch this, A Day in Your Life. It's a video provided by the Federal Trade Commission. We'll see what insights they can share with us.
Every day, you take advantage of all kinds of services: mobile, social media, free internet search, and more. When you use these services, you're sharing information about yourself with friends, with businesses, while you're out and about, while you're at home. That information is shared and sold within businesses, with their affiliates, with ad networks. So on a typical day, you might shop at a store and use a loyalty card to take advantage of a sale. And your shopping habits may be shared or sold. You might need to fill a prescription, and your prescription history may be shared or sold. You might use a daily coupon app to get a deal at a nearby restaurant, and your location information may be shared or sold. You might visit a news site where you notice an ad for your favorite brand of shoes. It's an online sale, this weekend only, so you buy a pair. And the articles you read and your shoe preferences may be shared or sold. You might log into a social network and see that your friends are filling out an All About Me quiz. You get the quiz app and share your answers, and your quiz responses and profile information may be shared or sold. A regular day. You've taken care of business, used some free services, gotten some good deals, and revealed all kinds of information about yourself. So at the end of the day, the question is, who has your information, and where is it going next?
I found that video enlightening, and I hope you did too. Being aware of the many ways we can each be identified, and when we may be sharing our identity, are positive steps. So what's at risk? Personally identifiable information. We'll refer to this going forward as PII. You'll notice some of these on this list are specific documents, while others are pieces of information, but all are things that may identify an individual. So take a moment and think about how many of these you have now. Okay, so we know what might be at risk. How did they get it? We're going to review the most common types of scams. Yes, there are many more types. If you're curious and would like to learn more about them, go to the Federal Trade Commission's website and select the topic Scams. Their website is ftc.gov. Phishing is the first scam we'll look into. It's done through a text or an email message. The scammer pretends to be a legitimate company, trying to get the individual's personal identifiable information. A telephone scammer connects to the individual by phone, trying to sell them a product or a service. They'll even resort to threats or incentives to get the victim to share their PII. Elder fraud scams is our third example. These folks are often described as individuals over the age of 65. The scammers are hoping that because of their age, they'll be more inclined to believe their story and ultimately share their personal identifiable information. Now, according to our internal fraud experts, we have seen an increase in reports in the romance scam, the imposter scam, and the telephone scam occurring in Ohio, including in the Sandusky area. Take a moment and read through this phishing email scam. The blue boxes point out some suspicious pieces of this message. As you read through it, see if you notice anything else that looks off. Did you notice they wanted the customer to sign in and click to confirm your identity from their email? How about the words they chose in their message? Please sign in using the link below, or else your account and all its money will be terminated within 36 hours. Sounds kind of threatening, doesn't it? A preventive tip. Whenever you receive an email asking you to sign in or click for confirmation from the message, stop and verify it before you provide any response. Review the message carefully, like we've done with this communication. Contact the sender using the information you already have on hand, calling them or going directly to their website. And finally, delete without responding to any suspicious emails you receive. Here's an example of a telephone scam. Let's take a moment and read through it. See how many things you can find that sound suspicious. Did the announcement that she's the winner of the $1 million lottery get your attention? What information did they share about the organization that's offering the lottery, or how did she get entered into it? They were quick to ask her to share several of her personal identifiable information items, right? And the incentive, the one that they implied they might offer, we should be able to waive all the taxes on the amount. And finally, the push for her to provide the information immediately. Why the rush? Okay, preventive tips. If a caller is offering something that sounds incredible, stop and ask questions. Verify their offer and their organization. Make sure they're legitimate through another source before sharing any of your information. The State of Ohio Attorney General's website is a good resource. The website is ohioattorneygeneral.gov. If it sounds like a scam, check it out. The Federal Trade Commission and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, that's FDIC, or the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, all have information about scams on their websites. And always be suspicious when you hear words like, only if you act now, because it's a typical pressure tactic scammers use. Scamming isn't the only approach a thief will take to get your PII information. You'll also notice here several common theft methods. These include stealing your personal property, dumpster diving, shoulder surfing, and skimming. We'll take a look at each one. Stealing your property to get your identity often includes things like taking your wallet or your purse, but it may also include stealing your electronic device, such as a cell phone. Why would a thief want your cell phone? Well, let's think about the kind of information you may have on it. Do you have a list of contacts? Do some of these show the individual's full name, relationship to you, their phone numbers, and their email addresses? Could they use your phone to access your social media sites? Do you do any online shopping through your phone? Could they use this information to pretend to be you? Tip to protect yourself. Sign out of any app when not using it. Keep a lock, whether it's a PIN, a pattern, or a password, on your electronic device. And remember, change your passwords regularly. Dumpster diving is when a thief searches through someone's trash looking for information. They may hope to find a bank statement, a medical statement, or even username and password information crumbled up and discarded. Tip to protect yourself. Always shred any type of information that has your personal identifiable information on it before tossing it in the trash. Shoulder surfing is using direct observation, such as looking over someone's shoulder to get information. This may happen when using an electronic device, such as a cell phone or a tablet, or even at an ATM. A tip to protect yourself. When using one of these devices, be aware of your surroundings. Consider where you are physically in comparison to other people. Think about how you're holding or accessing the device so it isn't easily viewed by others. If you don't feel like you can complete the task or transaction safely, don't. Leave the area and try another location. Skimming involves a thief installing a skimmer device on a machine used for processing debit card or credit card transactions. When the card is swiped, it captures and stores all the debit card information on the card magnetic stripe. The thieves will collect the information and use it to process fraudulent transactions on the card account. Tip to protect yourself. Before using your card, look carefully at the area where you will insert it. Does it have any loose parts? If you're unsure about using it, don't, and ask to use another machine. We've read about several of the methods used to steal your PII. You see on this list, there are many ways they may try to use it. Opening an account that might be with a financial institution, like a bank, or a department store, like a Target. Or they might try to get medical care by getting prescriptions filled or seeing a medical professional. How does this impact you? It's in your name, so the organization believes it's you. A tip to protect yourself. Regularly review your account activity on any account that you have. That way you'll ensure the transactions that are posting are ones that you really did. The list shown here, protecting against identity theft, is a solid listing of things you can do to protect yourself. We've reviewed several of these already. A few more that stand out are: do not use public Wi-Fi to access sensitive information. Secure important documents in a safe place. And set up alerts to help you monitor certain types of activity, including fraud. We've had a chance to learn today that there are many ways to identify each of us. And while there are people out in the world who want to try to steal our identity information, there are things that we can do to protect ourselves and resources available to help us. On behalf of Civista Bank, thank you for your time and attention today. We hope you found this information helpful and wish you great success as you continue on your educational journey.
Thank you for watching the fourth video. I look forward to our phone call.